What's up, guys? We are back with another podcast episode, and this week we are going to be talking about a little article that Speak wrote about me, giving you guys some updates on some paddles, Sypik, new Engage foam paddles, the Boomstik again, because I just played a tournament with it. And then we're also, for the primary topic this week, going to be talking about what are the 5 paddles we would actually play with regardless of price, and then also if we had to buy the paddles ourselves, what would we actually play with? This is something a lot of you have been DMing me on Instagram about, so I thought it'd be a fun topic to go over. And then in the kitchen, I just played a tournament this weekend and had some great results, so would love to talk about that. So stay tuned to the kitchen, because we also have some duper updates, so and a little game that Isaac came up with. So
it's gonna be fun.
Can't wait to see. All right, first thing I gotta go over. Holy lizard. The amount of, first of all, it's definitely funnier that you picked lizard, because seeing the amount of comments on my YouTube studio dashboard that just said lizard, lizard, lizard. And then when I looked up the meme, I was like, okay, this is a very funny meme.
Makes sense now, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. But I can't believe how many people made it through the hour 40 podcast.
The lizard army came through. I appreciate all of you for commenting lizard. That was awesome.
There were so many of them.
Some of your comments were just really funny. The way you guys, not just commenting it, but some of them implemented it in really funny ways.
Yes. We thoroughly got a kick out of that. We might have to make that a thing at the end of every podcast.
Different words or memes or something.
Yeah, by the end of this, come up with another one.
Yeah, I got you.
Because I got
also, real quick, for all of those that were asking, Steve is doing great. Steve's chilling by my desk at home when I'm editing. He just sits there and he's my buddy. He's just chilling.
For those of you that are new, you'll probably want to explain who that is.
Oh, yeah. Steve is my pet bearded dragon. He's been on the podcast before, back when it was at my old apartment, and he has had some appearances, but now that it's here, he's not showing.
He would be very cold in this basement.
He would be very cold. He likes it hot. So it would be a little rough here for him. But he's doing great. So I know a few of you were asking.
Yeah, you'll have to flash a picture of him on screen.
Will do.
All right, next up, for those of you who have been wondering, we haven't had a Melin code in a while, but once this podcast is live, the Melin code should already be going, and it will only be good for 24 hours. For those of you who don't know, Melin is the hats that you guys see us wearing all the time. We've been pretty diehard fans of these hats I've been at least 2 years now. I might even be coming up on 2.5.
I don't think I've literally worn, ever since I got a Melin, I don't think I've worn a different hat.
No, same.
Like another brand.
Some of the reasons, actually, I'm so bummed I didn't take a picture. So I'll explain. These are very expensive hats. I'm going to say that right now. It's not cheap. They're like
disclaimer out the window.
They're like $80, $90.
Premium.
Very expensive hats. Now, and let me tell you guys a story about this. So Pickleball Will was the guy that got me turned on to these originally. He was like, dude, these hats are awesome. And I had been wearing a lot of different hats at the time. Like, I just would cycle between a bunch of hats. I'd have to throw them out all the time because they just didn't last. They would stink. They would get dirty, and I couldn't clean them, whatever. And he's like, dude, you should really buy a Melin hat. And I was like, I looked up the price, and I said, there's no shot. Like, for those of you who don't know, I'm a very, like, budget-conscious guy. Like, I have a budget. I use an app called YNAB.
He'll use the word frugal. I might use the word cheap. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's probably accurate.
Sometimes it applies, but that's not a bad thing.
If you guys saw the line items in my YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget, an app, you guys would probably laugh. Yeah. So I've kind of always been the cheap guy in the family. But anyways, he gifted me one of the hats, and ever since then, I have not turned back. And you guys can see a bunch of the hats back there. I have spent far too much money on these hats.
They're the best. We started just giving, like, perfect birthday present, Christmas gift. Yep. Like, anytime there was a gift, it was like, well, just buy each other Melins.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. So, yeah, we're addicted.
Yeah. So they have a lot of different shapes of hats. You can see them on the website. The one I'm wearing is just like a baseball type cap. The one Isaac's wearing is more like a trucker style hat. So they have a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
But anyways, one of the primary reasons I love them is they're so easy to clean. So this weekend, my white hat, I went to the tournament all 3 days, only played 2 of them. But in between each day, like, the hat, it's a white hat, so yellow. Like, it looked gross. Like, you'd be like, there's no way you could save this hat. I just run it under some water. I use some dish soap, scrub it, and then rinse it off, dry it. Looks brand new.
Yeah, and next morning it looks great.
I've been wearing this hat I've probably had it for 1.5 to 2 years now, and it's probably my most worn Melin hat, and it looks great.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, like, perfect story. I won't go through the whole thing because it's a long story I've told on the pod before. But I had a white hat, got smushed through a
Yeah, if you have the pictures, put that in
I'll
this,
put the
because this is
picture up.
crazier than mine.
Yeah, it got smushed through a like conveyor belt, and it was
the airport.
At the airport, it was literally flat, grease stains, oil stains all over it. I thought it was ruined. Popped it back out, Dawn dish soap, cleaned it back to pure white.
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they're great. Some of these hats, like I have not had to replace a single one of them. They're all awesome. Actually, that's not true. I did have to warranty one hat. It got like a weird mark on it that I couldn't get rid of, and they didn't even ask to send the hat back. They just sent me a new one.
The warranty is really good too. That makes it nice.
Yeah.
Also, it's so funny. You are like this in more ways than one, not just with the hats, but clothing, just clothing in particular. Because, I mean, as we see what you're wearing now, I got hooked on Viore a long time ago, and I told this guy, I was like, you should buy some Viore clothing. That's way too expensive. Not worth it at all. Buys a little bit of Viore. Somebody got him some Viore, and now all he wears.
Well, it always starts with someone giving it to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, dang, that is really nice.
This stuff is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And now that's all you wear.
So, anyways, they have a 24-hour discount code. It's PBSTU20. So, PBSTU20 will give you 20% off a Melin hat for the next 24 hours. And I'll have a link in the description if you want to buy one of those. But we love these hats. They're not a sponsor of this podcast. I've asked them to sponsor it before. They only do these temporary discount codes. But yeah, I love these hats, and I will probably be wearing them till the end of time. So
same. I think I'm going to get buried with one.
Yeah.
I'll have one on my head when I get buried.
There you go. So, all right, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about really quick, I mentioned SpeakPickleball last week in the articles. He actually did a write-up on me. The Instagram post should be live today. That's just like a summary of the story. I didn't realize this. I think I may have said it last week, but the Instagram ones are just short summaries.
Yeah.
There's a full article. I'll leave it linked down below. So if you guys are curious about kind of my origin story, there's a lot of stories I haven't really told on the podcast before. So if you're just kind of curious how we got to Pickleball Studio, that article will tell you more. Appreciate Speak doing the write-up, because he did an awesome job writing it. I told him we had like an hour and a half long call, and then he took a bunch of notes and turned it into a story. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry you have to turn this into a story, because I just yap. I was like, dude, I wouldn't want to summarize my own story.
He always does such a good job.
Yeah, he kills it. So yeah, if you want to check that out, link in the description. Anyways, let's talk about some paddles.
Yeah.
So last week, people had asked about the Sypik paddles, and this is actually kind of a funny story. So I have a buddy who I actually used to work for in speed cubing. I was like a contractor for the company. They were essentially the equivalent of Pickleball Central, but for speed cubing. So I used to run their YouTube channel. He got into pickleball. You know, we've probably been talking again the last like year and a half or so as he's started playing a lot of pickleball. And he calls me just out of the blue. I haven't had a phone call with him, and couldn't tell you about probably when I worked for him, which was 7 years ago. And I was like, what is going on? And I was like, this is a random phone call to get. And he's like, dude, I'm at a store right now. He's like, I'm going to send you the Sypik Triton 3. He's like, this is the best paddle I've ever hit. And he's like obsessed with power paddles. Like, he's played the Pro 4. He, I think, had the mods before that. He's always asking me, like, what is the best power paddle I can buy? He actually went and bought a Flick. As soon as he heard about that, he's like, I'm going to love this. He actually ended up hating that one.
Oh, really? That's funny.
He messaged me, and he's like, dude, the sweet spot on this is tiny. He's like, yeah, I can hit the ball hard, but he's like, if I don't nail the center, it doesn't do anything.
Feels terrible.
So he is like, yeah, I can't use this. But no shade of Body Helix. That's just that story he told me.
My reference to that paddle recently has been like the paddle tech of foam core paddles.
Oh, that's actually kind of an interesting way. Yeah, just because of the sweet spot size. Yeah, I could see that for sure. It's like you nail the center and it's really good. It's like if you have the skill to hit the center, it's going to be awesome.
Awesome. But then the drop off is so quick. Yeah. That's
totally.
If somebody was asking me about it, I'd be like, imagine a paddle tech with a foam core.
Yeah. Can't believe I never thought of that.
I know, right?
But anyways, he calls me up and he's like, dude, the Triton 3, he's like, this is the best paddle I've ever hit. He's like, it's insane. He's like, I'm going to buy this. You can Venmo me or whatever. And he's like, I'm going to send it to you. And I was like, okay, that's great, because I haven't been able to get one. And so they're going to send me the Triton 3 and then also the Avatar, which is the full foam core paddle. They're going to, the shop is going to send that to me, which let me give them a shout out really quick, just because it's getting Sypik paddles in the US is actually kind of hard. Like, I think there is a main US distributor, but you have to like Venmo them, and I don't think there's really a website. So it's just kind of weird. But anyways, these guys are Unlimited Pickleball. The website is unlimitedpickleballzone.com. So I believe you will be able to buy Sypik paddles there. And I believe they have a retail shop that you can go to in person. So, yeah, shout out to them. Appreciate it. I'm looking forward to trying these out. I mean, I've heard good things, so
See if they're any good.
yeah, we'll see how they all hold up. So Sypik probably get some coverage here soon. And then next up, we have the Engage foam paddles. So the launch date of these is August 26th. And interestingly enough, let me double check here really quick. I always forget what it's called. Can you remember? Actually, it's going to be on the website in literally just a second here. Give me 1 second as I pull this up. Engage, all paddles. It is I can't remember what did they get rid of them? What their old, like, the China brand was. You know how Selkirk has SLK?
Yeah.
I'm completely blanking on.
I'm blanking on that too. Now, I swear I just had it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it really quick. It doesn't really matter. Probably everyone listening does not care at all
I was going to say.
Whatever, I can't
we
find
can't
it.
even remember.
Oh, it was Omega.
That's
so
it.
They kind of always did it like Selkirk, where if it was China, it was under like SLK. But now these new ones, which, I mean, since they're full foam, presumably they are not made in the U.S.
Right.
They are under the Engage line. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that they brought it over. So these are set to launch August 26th. I got to see one of our friends who was playing this weekend. He had one, and he was loving it. So let's just kind of go over these. Before we go over them, I do have to say, I'm sorry, Engage, but you guys might have some of the worst marketing jargon I've seen in a long time.
Oh, okay.
Every single time I get a deck from Engage that is about the paddles, I walk away knowing almost what feels like less than if you told me nothing. So let me just read some of these, because this is what I read right before the podcast, and I went, this doesn't tell me anything. So, all right, first one for one of the paddles. Drive Pro Polymer Core. And these are all foam core paddles, keep in mind. Now, it's not entirely incorrect to call this polymer, because EPP is technically short for expanded polypropylene.
Yep.
So I get it, but I think anyone who's looking at paddles and hears Drive Pro Polymer Core is immediately going to think honeycomb polymer core. So I was already like off to a bad start. Next one, Impact Edge Foam Barrier. Response Pro Plus Foam, Fusion Control Application Layer, Dura Edge Protection, and that the quote on that was, reinforced edge trim protects against wear and tear while maintaining balance and integrity. So I'm like, does that just mean the edge guard? Like, did we really just brand the edge guard? And like all of these, as I was reading, I'm not going to read all the descriptions of these, but as I was reading them, I was like, what does this mean? Like, it's all this marketing buzzwords that don't actually tell me how drives me crazy. There literally,
Dude, I feel you.
There was no useful information about what these paddles, what makes them different.
Yeah.
And there's 3 of them. So I'm going to read you the only information differences that I could find from these decks.
Okay.
Because there's nothing about how it's built in terms of how I can convey it to you, because I don't know. So there's the Alpha, which is going to be $199.99. They're claiming that the grit on this one lasts 4 times longer. So
That's a big claim.
So I don't know what they figured out. It sounds like an Infinigrit type of thing. So we'll see when we get one. They said this one is designed for control, and it will come in a 14 millimeter and a 16 millimeter.
Okay.
The next one is the Pro Foam, which is $229.99. And all I could gather from this was all around performance. So we're just going to say all court for right now.
Sure.
That's all I got from it.
That's the Pro Foam?
Pro Foam.
Got it.
And then we have the Alpha Pro, which is going to be $259.99, 14 millimeter and 16 millimeter, and built for power players. That's all I got.
All right.
And that's with 3 whole decks about each of the paddles. That's all I could take away from these. The Alpha Pro and the Pro Foam will have UPAA approval. So if you are a qualifier guy, that is an option for you. These this is actually kind of nice to see. These will all have a limited lifetime warranty on them. So that's great, because I think, hoping I'm not forgetting anyone, I want to say of the foam core paddles right now, there's only 3 companies that offer that. The Boomstik with Selkirk, the Blue Cores with Diadem, and now Engage. And so you love to see that there's a lifetime warranty on that. That clearly shows
nice.
more confidence in foam, which is great. So
we need more of that in the industry.
I agree. It's great. I mean, anything less than a year on the foam paddle seems criminal to me.
Yeah, I agree.
So glad to see that they're doing that, because traditionally Engage has only done that on their U.S. paddles.
I can't get over this 4 times longer grit claim. That's kind of wild to me.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see.
So quick story about Engage. We have a buddy who plays with Engage Pursuit Pro.
Yeah.
And we were drilling the other day, and we were just talking about, I was playing with the Boomstik. We were talking about Infinigrit, because he's going to start using the Boomstik. And then he was like, he laughed, and he's like, feel my paddle. And I was like, dude, when I tell
Pursuit
you,
Pro?
Yeah, when I tell you this thing felt like swiping my finger on my phone screen, it was glass.
Yeah.
It was so smooth.
He's been using that thing for a while.
And he goes, this is the new one. He's like, I have 2. This is the one I've only recently started using. And I'm like, what? It's insane.
He plays a lot, and he really doesn't swap his paddles much. So
he really
it makes
doesn't.
sense.
It makes sense. But I was like, I don't think I've ever felt a peel ply paddle that smooth.
Sure.
It was like, next time you see him,
Yeah, I'll have to check it
feel his
out.
paddle, because it blew my mind.
For sure.
Well, if this is true, that's great for Engage.
The only sucky thing is that, to my knowledge, when I was looking at the decks, I think that was only on the control one. So
What?
it doesn't apply to the Pro or the Pro Foam.
Really?
So I don't know what that's all about.
Interesting. I
Maybe
wonder if
they're
it's like a
wanting
test.
to exactly. They want to test it on that before they bring it over, maybe.
Yep.
And then the only other note I had was that the initial shapes are going to be only elongated, and then sounded like several weeks later they'd have the standard shape. So that's what I've got about those. I mean, the guy that was using, I want to say it was the Alpha Pro this weekend.
I think so.
He did get bronze, so he played great. I mean, he's a good player. So
Yeah, it was solid. Look good.
yep. Very curious to see more about that. They did also drop the bullseye off the paddles. I know a lot of people.
I did notice that. I was like, at first from a distance, I was like, what paddle is he playing with?
Yeah, I
Then
couldn't even tell because it's such minimal branding. It's
saw
just
him
like black.
Yeah, I saw him walk up, and I saw Engage on the side, and he kind of has been swapping paddles. He used to use Selkirk. Then the club that he works for was sponsored by Yola, and he was using Yola for a while. Now he's got an Engage in his hand. So I know you're not going to like the design of the paddle, but I actually like it.
It's not really that I don't like it. It's just that it feels so... The bullseye, I think that could have been retired.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that gone.
I think that was just kind of dated, but it was just so minimal that at first I was like, I don't know what this is.
Well, I
thought
feel
it
like
was an off-brand paddle.
I feel like that's because it's new. Like, think about any paddle that you know what it is from a distance, right? Let's just say a Pro 4.
Okay.
You know it's a Pro 4 when you see it from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
You can't read Yola or Pro 4.
Mm-hmm.
You're used to seeing that
But
design.
like the edge guard and the design makes it
the
stand
design
out.
of that Engage, I don't know any other paddle that has the same design. So I feel like, I mean, it's very simple. It's literally just like hollowed out text that says Engage.
Yeah.
But I have no issue with that. I like it.
Whatever.
I like minimalist. I'm starting to really like the minimalist design.
It doesn't really matter. I don't need to rant about the design. I was just so caught off guard of how minimally branded it was that it...
For Engage.
Yeah, it's just, I was like, who is this? So
Yeah, same.
All right, next up, going to talk about the Boomstik a little bit more. So we'll get to the tournament in the kitchen, talking about my actual performance. But I just want to talk about the paddle. So the night before mixed, I drilled, and I didn't know what paddle I was going to use. I was liking the Boomstik, but I've been using the J2NF, and I've had some good tournament results playing with it recently. So I brought them both, and I was like, okay, I'll swap back and forth and try and decide which paddle I want to use this weekend. So I started out with the Boomstik. Then I went to the J2NF, and pretty much as soon as I put the Boomstik down and went to the J2NF, I was like, okay, it's going to be Boomstik this weekend. They're both very good paddles. I don't want people to get the impression. Like, I think what people need to understand is, like, I'm talking about my personal preference at this point. And I found it very weird because I've never been I want the most powerful paddle. And the Boomstik is, like, well past my usual preference.
Yeah, it's top.
But the thing that's, like, so interesting to me about this paddle compared to other power paddles, like, for example, the Gearbox is a perfect example right now. I would say they are pretty equivalent in terms of power overall, like they're not that far apart. Like maybe one of them has a little bit more pop or a little bit more power, whatever. But to me, the Boomstik is so much easier to use than the Gearbox. Like my confidence was just not high with the Gearbox. I was always worried about over swinging. I like soft, gentle rolls. I was over hitting them all the time. It was hard for me to connect with it, but I can recognize it's objectively a very good paddle. And then the Boomstik, it's so poppy that I'm like, okay, this is probably going to take away the one thing I'm good at, which is like staying in points, resetting, and like dropping. And for whatever reason, the Boomstik, I can do it very well. Like both my partners throughout the tournament were like, dude, you are resetting so well with this paddle. And I was like, I don't know how.
Dude, watching you, look, it's crazy. It's definitely the best I've ever seen you play. By far.
We're getting compliments.
Far the best I've ever seen you. I've never seen you hit such consistent drops. Your volleys were crazy, like just good. Your counters were better than normal.
We couldn't get the full compliment.
No, I can't get. I saw some that I would have to think for a second. I saw a few that made me hold back there.
Yeah, there were some that weren't great.
Exactly. Your drives were in mixed were really good.
Yeah.
Then you got banished to the right side.
We'll get to that.
But anyways, when I was like, Boomstik turned this guy into a whole new person. This isn't my brother. Who is this guy?
I actually had a guy. So for this facility, it's actually like great for tournaments. The amount of spectators were awesome when we got to the main venue. So it's a pickleball facility, but they also have a nice restaurant. And then there's like this big balcony where people who are eating can watch. And when I showed up from pool play and got to the bracket, I can't remember exactly what the guy said, but it was essentially something along the lines of like, who the heck is this guy? This guy gets a Boomstik and suddenly he starts winning tournaments? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so funny. Like, the amount of people that came up to me throughout the whole weekend and were like, is that thing legal? There's no way that thing's legal.
Oh, I got that question so many times, and so many people are like, is it going to get banned?
Yeah, I got that too.
I don't think so, but...
Like, if Selkirk gets a paddle ban, that's crazy. We're living in a weird world.
Yeah, that'd be alternate universe.
The company that's like, has traditionally been maybe the most conservative gets banned, that would be wild.
Yeah.
That'd be quite the story. But anyways, I was very impressed with the paddle this weekend. I literally didn't have anything. The only thing, if I had to complain, would be the thing it is best at, which is it being poppy. So, but even then, it was like every ball I missed was like, I couldn't blame the paddle if I wanted to. The sweet spot is huge.
It's what's so crazy about it is the level of pop that it has for how easy it is to use, like the usability and control of it. It just doesn't feel like it should be that way. I'm thinking like it matches the pop of a paddle tech, but
more, I'd say.
Yeah, but if I'm dinking with a paddle tech, I'm going to pop up every other dink, I feel like. But with the Boomstik, I'm like, I got no issues.
I just think it has to be. The only conclusion I came to after this tournament is because of the sweet spot being so much larger that it's like on a paddle tech, if you miss slightly off or you hit center, like you might be changing your swing because of that.
Yeah.
And it's like if you gave it a little too much because you were going to hit off center and then you hit center, now it's going way. Boom. But it's like the Boomstik sweet spot just felt very consistent. So that's the only thing I can think. And again, I want to be clear. I said this in my review and I'm going to say it again. I don't know that this is going to be everyone's experience with the paddle. I think this is not, again, it's not a paddle I would recommend for beginners. It's not even a paddle I would say most people should probably buy. I think value-wise, you could probably get more value out of other paddles.
Yeah.
But I have been shocked how much I've liked this paddle and how well I've played with it. I actually made an Instagram post and said, I haven't mained a Selkirk paddle since the 003, and that was the softest paddle ever made. And now this isn't the
opposite spectrum.
Yeah, it's like literally as far opposite as I could go. So I don't know. I'm very impressed.
Same.
And I played it stock.
I do think that, like, yes, the value is a tough thing because of how expensive it is, but it's one of those things where it's like, you really don't have many options. This is what you want. This is really one of the only options out there for this level of pop, power, sweet spot, spin.
It's kind of like when the Pro 4 came out.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, you can complain all you want about the price, but you can't get it anywhere else. So if you want it, it makes sense. You got to cough up the money, which isn't a bad thing, right? Like, I understand it from a business side.
See, but we talked about this a little bit. Selkirk, so obviously I feel like there was definitely damage kind of done to their name in the competitive scene because of just being so lackluster the last couple of years. Like when the best paddle you had for pros was essentially the Power Air for 3 years. I mean, obviously the 002 was in there too. And for that time it was good. But the Power Air, it fell off quick. Yeah. And that's like all they had. I think if they had come in here and they sold the Boomstik for $280, they would have flooded the market with this. And who knows, maybe at $300 they still will. But at $280, it would have done so much good for their name in the competitive market.
I totally agree. Trust me, I agree. But I can also, on the other side, understand why they still priced it at $330 or whatever.
Yeah, money.
Yeah, well, of course. Of course it's money. But, like, I do agree that if they did price it at $259 or $280 or whatever, they would have sold way more. They'd be everywhere. But they didn't. So if you want it, that's the price you got to pay.
Like that is the thing that, like, if it was just, it'd be so much easier to recommend. I mean, paddles at that price range are already kind of hard to recommend. But I just, gosh, at $333, I'm like, why couldn't you have made this easier to recommend?
I know.
It's one of those paddles that I would tell people, like, yes, I really like this, but like, tell me what you want, and like unless what you want is like high pop and power, like the Boomstik is probably not what I'm recommending you.
Sure.
Especially if money is even remotely a concern.
Oh yeah, if you're concerned about the price, look away. It's immediately not for you.
Yeah. Also, I can't remember the exact quote. I was listening to John's podcast earlier this week, and I had said last week that I wonder if, like, we have been making the assumption, okay, Boomstik is for pros, it's for high-level players, like, that's the target.
Sure.
And Tom had said on that podcast, because John was asking about the weights and like them not being removable, and I want to say he said the target range, like skill level they were basically expecting, was between like 4.0 and 4.5. And so when I said, well, okay, people in that skill range might not want to customize it, and that maybe that's why they did that, because they have that data. Well, if that is who they were designing it for, then I get it.
Oh, I already 100% knew that's who it was for, and that's why they did it. I still just disagree in the fact that that's the only option they have.
Sure.
I think that there's no reason they shouldn't have another option for people who want to customize it themselves. Okay, have an option for the 4.0 or 4.5 people. That's great. I totally understand that there are people who don't want to customize it, and they just want to buy it, play with it, and it's going to feel great. And it does. But for the people like me, or you, or others, or some of my friends who I know who do like to customize their paddles, you're just much more limited. And I think it doesn't hurt anything to have another option.
Yeah, I would think it wouldn't be that hard. I mean, they're having to apply the weights anyways, so just
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not like, it's fine with the weights. I'm still going to use it.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, like I said, I played it stock. I like it. I don't plan to add any weight to it. For me, it works. I think my concern was just out of, there are going to be people who would use this if they just had a little bit more leeway in how they could customize it.
Yeah, totally. I will say, I did drill with a buddy of mine yesterday for like 2.5 or 3 hours, and I did put weight on the paddle. Put like a 6-inch strip of 1 gram per inch on both sides of the throat, basically up to where that weight is. And I didn't think I'd like it even more, but I think it's even better now with more weight.
That's crazy because it's a lot of weight.
So awesome.
But you also, it's already light for you anyways, so it's adding weight down there is not even going to make it that heavy.
I didn't test the swing weight, but if I had to guess off of that, it's 120.
Yeah.
I think it's around
that low and down is probably not going up that much.
Yeah. So, but it's awesome. I still think it's such a good paddle.
Yeah. So, and we'll keep you guys posted on it more. I think at this point, it's safe to say the Boomstik is probably going to be my main after this weekend's performance. I was really happy with it. Thought I played great. So planning to stick with it, which is great because now I can, again, keep testing the Infinigrit. So I think what I'm going to do is log my hours on the Boomstik, and every interval of maybe like 10 hours of play is probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to rerun spin tests, start a spreadsheet, and then just kind of track how it drops.
Sure.
And of course, it's not a hard science, right? There's better ways we could do this, but I think it'll be enough to just get an idea of how it degrades. Mm-hmm. And we'll keep you guys updated as we have that. So anyways, let's move on here. All right, so we got one other paddle here. So this has not been announced yet, or, as of now, you're going to get to hear about it. This is the paddle that Isaac was talking about that he couldn't talk about at the time.
Last week.
And that is the updated BnB Loco.
Oh, it's Loco.
Yes. So I'll let you talk about this paddle a little bit more. I'll kind of give the summary of this paddle, and then we can go into, because you've hit it a lot more than me.
I've got a lot of time on this thing now.
Yeah, Isaac pretty much since he got this thing hasn't put it down. So we got the paddles, and since they weren't approved yet, they weren't done, I was like, okay, I'll try these, but I'm not going to put a lot of time on it because you just never know with how approvals are these days. Mm-hmm. So basically, Bread and Butter took the Loco name, and now they've turned it into a full foam lineup. So they'll have all three shapes. They'll have the hybrid, the elongated, and the wide body, and it's a EPP core with a Gen 3 ring around the entire paddle. Editor Chris here, so I completely forgot to mention this on the podcast, but I'll have an x-ray on screen now. If you look, the Boomstik and the Loco actually look very similar. The only differences that I'm able to see are that on the Loco, it doesn't have the yellow foam that's around the neck of the Boomstik. The Loco is also using a carbon fiber, fiberglass, carbon fiber layup, and then it looks like the Gen 3 ring that's on the outside is a little bit thicker or wider on the Loco than it is on the Boomstik, but otherwise, the internals of this definitely look very similar. I'll tell you my experience with it initially, and then you can tell me what you think. But to me, when I first played with it, I pretty much immediately would have put it between an NF and a Boomstik. So it's not as aggressive as a Boomstik, but it was a jump up from an NF. So you're not going to get the full like Boomstik experience, but if you're like, the NF wasn't enough, then there's this. And I think like overall for an NF to this, I would say pretty logical upgrade. Like they don't play that drastically different. I'd say it's a little louder. It's a little poppier. Like I said, it's just more aggressive. So there's two things that I think are going to make the Loco great. One, if you didn't want to buy a Boomstik because it's $333, okay, you're going to take away Infinigrit and you're going to take away some pop and power. You got the Loco. But if you thought the NF wasn't enough or you didn't like some of the shapes, now you have more traditional shapes with Bread and Butter, which I think will be really appealing. And then also, I know there are a lot of people who just don't love the Bible verse at the top of the Honolulus. And so if you're like, I wanted that experience that everyone's raving about, but without that, also the Loco. So it's kind of filling like this gap between the Boomstik and the NF that I think a lot of people were going to be wanting.
Yeah, it felt like it was a pretty wide, like there was a missing hole there.
Yeah.
And this fills it.
And it'll be technically a little cheaper than the NF. It'll be $190 before a code.
Yeah.
So anyways, my first initial impression of it, which is again, like an hour of hitting maybe, is that. Yeah. But you've been hitting it for, I don't know, a couple weeks now.
I've got about 23 hours on it now.
Very specific.
Yeah, I've been tracking it.
Oh, okay.
So I've got about 23 hours on it now. Still feels perfect. No issues. Hasn't changed. Like I haven't noticed a change in feel. Obviously, I haven't hit it side by side with a brand new one, so there could be a slight change. I don't know for sure. But from what I've been able to notice, there has been no big increase in power. There's been no change in sound. So that's great. You pretty much nailed it right on the head. It is in between the NF and the Boomstik. I would say the differences, leaning more on Boomstik side, is it's less reboundy. So the Boomstik has that trampoline feel, but it's very quick. When the ball hits it, it soaks in and springs back really fast. And that's where it gets its pop and that feel. Where the Loco is a little bit more plush and dwelly, where it feels like that rebound is just a little slower.
Yeah, which is where I think it's kind of closer to the NF in that way.
Yeah, it hits the face and it kind of sits there for a second and then launches off. And I like that feel a lot. It makes it feel like drops are super easy. Dinking is very familiar with like Gen 2 paddles. It's not like a massive difference other than like I'm just getting a lot more pop and power. But I still feel like the sweet spot, same thing as the Boomstik. Sweet spot's huge, which is awesome. And I know I'm going to sound like a BnB shill. I used the Shogun forever, but this thing is just awesome. I used it in the tournament over the weekend in the pro divisions for mixed and men's. And dude, it was just so awesome. Spins the ball great. Drives feel amazing. Overheads.
Yeah, I mean,
goodbye.
I saw a couple. Yeah, it's
I'm hitting the ball over the fence. Like, it's awesome. So, yeah, I think it's a great paddle, especially for the price. If you don't want to spend $300 on a Boomstik, this is going to be your next best option.
Yeah. So I think, and this is the first time that to me, BnB has kind of always made the filth, I think, was good at the time because it was like a cheaper alternative to the 1X. So it was like, okay, it's appealing in that way. That was performance at a fairly early time. But I would say their paddle releases since then have been just fine. But there was always a better value, or if you went up in price, you could probably get a little bit more performance. Like if I'm thinking the Fat Boy, it was okay, but you could probably find a wide body that was cheaper and played just as good. If I'm thinking the Shogun, it was a fine all-court paddle. I even actually, for the time, I actually even liked it. I liked how it played. Like I didn't really have any complaints about it. But again, 190, you're like, can probably find some stuff that's a little cheaper, just as good, or go up in performance. Like where they have been has always kind of been more of a like marketing focus, but the paddles weren't bad. It's just that they weren't great.
Yeah.
I think with the Loco, this will be the first time that they have a truly performance paddle like a lot of the other companies have had, which I think will be potentially really appealing for a lot of people.
I personally view it as like BnB has always been that like fun, goofy marketing brand, solid performing paddles, nothing crazy in the performance realm that's like, this is amazing, top tier performance. They've always been good though. So it's always just been like, if you relate to the marketing, you like their stuff, great, but it's not like top tier players are going to want to be using this, right?
Whereas the Loco, I could see good players wanting to play it.
I now think with the Loco, this is finally going to like put some kind of respect on the BnB name for the performance side of things. This kind of puts them on the map in the performance realm of paddles, and that's really cool to see. Yeah. I'm really excited for this paddle. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna swap between the Loco, and the Boomstik. I think that I'm in between. I really like both of them, but I think I'm leaning more towards the feel and feedback of the Loco. The biggest downside is the fact that it's not UPA approved, and I just won't be able to use it at PPA qualifiers. So for that, I will just use the Boomstik.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, as we hit it more, we'll keep you guys updated on the paddle, but it's, again, I think it fills a really good void for certain people that there were aspects of the Honolulu they didn't like, whether it was the Bible verse or the handle, the shape. Maybe they wanted a little bit more pop or power. And then again, with the Boomstik, it's like, well, it's just really expensive. So it's like, this to me is probably, like if I was talking to someone and they were like, man, I want a Boomstik, but I don't want to spend $333. I feel like I'd probably push them towards this. Unless the high pop and power was really what they wanted. And it's like, okay, you're gonna have to fork over the $333. But I think again, it's like you've got an option now. It might not be the exact same thing, but it's close. You might give up 5-10% performance, but you can get it you can get over $100 cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, pretty impressive early thoughts on that paddle for sure.
Totally.
Okay, just gonna tell a quick story before we get into the primary topic. I didn't get to watch this. Our other brother Patrick was updating me in the middle of the tournament, in between matches.
I was watching it with him.
So the MLP playoffs, I haven't really been paying that much attention. However, I really wish I could have watched this one.
I know. I'm actually kind of annoyed. This tournament we had over the weekend was a big tournament, and that's basically all I did all day.
Yeah.
For every day of the weekend. So I didn't really have time to watch it. Otherwise, I probably would have.
Yeah. But so basically, it sounded like for the playoffs, teams could pick who they wanted to play, probably based on seeding or something like that. And the Flash chose the Columbus Sliders.
I'm sorry. Whoever on their team decided that. If it's Julie Johnson, you're fired. If it's JW, I like JW.
Off the team.
Terrible decision. What a bad decision.
So for those of you who don't know, on the Columbus Sliders, it's Andre Descu, CJ Klinger, Paris Todd, and Leah Jansen. That is a good team.
That's solid.
That is a good team. And anyways, long story short, spoiler, I'm going to give you guys like 5 seconds to pause this podcast if you don't want the spoiler.
Skip, get out of here.
Do whatever you got to do.
Yep.
But now I'm about to say it, so you're like 2 seconds away from hearing it. All right. The Flash lost.
Yeah.
They've been killing it this season, and they lost.
Kind of smoked in the gendered games.
I was just like, did you see the memes of Pickleball?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Dude.
I'm going to leave it linked. Go look at memes, Pickleball, guys.
They killed it.
The memes, elite.
Yeah, so good. I think in the gendered games, I know for men's for sure. I don't know for women's. I know they lost 11-4. Bro, JW and Augie, what are you doing? You lost 11-4? I mean, I get it. CJ and Andre are
That's a good team.
Crazy good team. But man, I did not expect that. And then if you saw the Dream Breaker, because I went to a Dream Breaker, I have never once seen JW get so pumped up. Dude was screaming after a point he won in single. Like, wow, that was crazy. That was cool to see.
Yeah, I might even try and see if I can just find a replay of this, because hearing it and seeing the memes, it's like, I got to watch this. This just looked like amazing pickleball. So
it was crazy.
Yeah, it just some of the memes I saw from that, I was like, dude, who made this decision? Like, there were other teams you guys could have picked. I don't know. That to me, I'm sure there was some matchup, or maybe it's based on past performance. And like, we've been beating them, it's fine. And maybe they struggled with some of the other teams.
There has to be some reason.
But
I still
on
feel
paper, it felt like a bad decision.
Still feel like it's ill-advised. While we're still on the topic of memes of pickleball, though.
Yeah.
On that same slide, if you go to the end, bro, different teams, Squeeze and Shock, are playing each other. The men's match, bro. I got to go back and watch this whole match because...
Oh, you're talking about Grayson and Hayden?
Yeah. Hayden has the ball, and he's at the net, and he's literally like from me and you away from each other, and he's handing him the ball. And as he's right next to him, he literally throws the ball 90 degrees to the side and walks away.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is crazy. And then the Shock proceed to miss 2 returns in a row.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was crazy. They swept him. The Shock still swept him. So
That's
I don't
what
know.
The Shock does.
I know that's what the Shock does, but man, I just want to know what was going through Hayden's head. He must really hate Grayson for some reason.
My guess is Grayson probably said something walking up to the net.
Probably.
And then that probably just...
But still, savage move.
Yeah,
I was
super
laughing
savage.
so hard when I saw that. I was like, dang. It was pretty funny.
For sure. Okay, so now that we're kind of out of the news, we got to the primary topic. We wanted to talk about, because we get questions all the time, like, okay, guys, you get to hit every paddle. You get them for free. Tell us what paddles you would actually use. And then I thought there's kind of 2 different lists, a little bit. There's what would we use, period. And then what would we use if we actually had to buy the paddle with our own money?
Yep.
And I think for the most part, those overlap quite a bit. But I think there's a couple that are a little bit more like this is tough.
Yep.
Okay. So I wanted to go through this list. So we have a no price and a price matters list. So let's just go through the lists, like each person, and then like a full list, and then do the other one. Okay. Yep. On mine, for no price, I have Boomstik. Obviously, we just talked about that, so I'm not going to talk about all the reasons again.
And these are in really no... Are they used in an order? Or
this
no
is not in order. Maybe we'll talk about in order if we had to rank them top to bottom.
Yep.
But this is paddles. I've said this before, and I feel like I need to say it in a lot more videos. Paddle performance overall is so good that it comes down to very small things. Mm-hmm. If you made me pick any of the paddles I'm about to mention and go to a tournament, I would probably play just fine. I might have a small preference of like, I feel a little bit better with this one or that one, but I would feel good and probably not really complain about the paddle. So there's not really a specific order, because I just think ranking it like 1 through 5 is kind of tough.
Yeah.
So, all right, Boomstik for me. Then I have the J2NF. That's what I was using before the Boomstik. Still think it's an awesome paddle, but Boomstik edged it out. Then next up after that, I would have the Pro 4 Scorpia 16 millimeter or 14 millimeter. Historically with the Pro 4s, the 14s have kind of been what I lean towards. But as I've been hitting the 16 a lot recently for like the GX2 Power review, I was like, okay, I do like this. So I think it'd be kind of a toss-up between those. The main thing for me is like, okay, and I'm assuming with the no price category, let's just say like we could get unlimited of these. The biggest thing that like I've never really liked about some of the Gen 3 style paddles is just the change, right? Like when I go to a tournament, I want to know that my paddle is going to be what it's going to be. It's not changing in the middle of the tournament. It's not changing the night before. So that's kind of the thing with the Pro 4 that like long term, if I had to use it, I'd be like, come on, I don't want to have like break one halfway in. So that way for a tournament, it's ready to go. It's like, I just kind of want to keep using the same paddle for the most part.
Yeah.
But I like how I play with that paddle. I've played some tournaments with it. I thought the results were solid. So I can't deny that it's a good paddle. Still think of power paddles, that's like in the conversation. It's a good paddle. Next up for me, Still kind of deciding as I'm working on this review, but the 11624 Alpha Pro Power and the Power Series, I don't know which I'd pick yet. I think they're both very good. I think it comes down to differences in feel that might make you pick one over the other. And again, taking price out of the equation because one is $30 more expensive than the other. But yeah, both of those are very good paddles. When I was using the Carbon, it was kind of the Power Series and the Carbon that I would have wanted to go back and forth on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one for me, more of an all-court pick here, was the Vatic Pro Saga. 16 millimeter or 14 millimeter. Shape-wise, it'd be a little tough. It'd either be if it was a 14 millimeter, probably the Bloom. If it's a 16 millimeter, it's probably the Flash.
That makes sense.
Probably the shorter handle for the swing weight.
Sure.
For me. But those in the no price category are probably what I'd be taking. And I tried looking throughout our whole studio and looking at the wall and being like, am I missing any paddles? And I feel like I'm missing one.
See, what's cool about it, though, is like the fact that that's the no price, doesn't matter, infinite money.
Yeah.
And you've still got budget options in there. It just shows that like paddles are getting really good at cheap prices.
Yeah.
Like cheap paddles are getting really good and good paddles are getting really cheap.
Yeah. Cool. And actually, let's just take one off the wall here. So let's see. Like PaddleTech. Why didn't PaddleTech make it into the list for me? I actually think the PaddleTech is a really good paddle. But for me, one of the reasons for the no price category would be the sweet spot. Mm-hmm. The sweet spot, I just think with a lot of the paddles that are on the market these days, like I think PaddleTech is slowly falling back into, they're not anywhere near where they were a couple years ago, where they were like at the bottom. But I do think with the power paddles that are coming out, durability is becoming less of an issue with the foam cores, and the sweet spots are so much bigger that I think it makes the PaddleTech a little less compelling than it did a year ago.
Sure.
It's still a great paddle. If you're a high level player, you can nail the center all the time. And I think the durability aspect is awesome and the fact that it doesn't change. But if I'm talking, I'm going to go to a tournament and feel my best, that sweet spot is a very big drawback for me. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's a good paddle, but just not for what I'm looking for.
Sure.
So that's why, like, that's just an example of a paddle. Like, why it's still like good. Why didn't it make it on the list? You know,
mm-hmm.
Especially in the no price.
I would say the same thing for the PaddleTech. I kind of feel like they waited so long to make something good. They finally came out with the Bantam, and
all the shapes, all
the good paddles, and then they're just sitting back in their chair counting their money. And then they're like, "Oh shoot, we got to come out with something new again. We'll wait another couple of years." Yeah. Like, I don't know.
But I mean, they're still everywhere.
They're still everywhere, and they're still good paddles. Don't get me wrong. But I just think they're starting to fall behind.
Yeah.
I'm personally not a fan of the feedback. That is a very preference thing, and I just think objectively the sweet spot is just too small.
That's for sure the biggest drawback.
Better options. For sure. So, yeah. But in terms of my list, again, no particular order.
And yours, just to be clear, because I asked you before, I was like, you only have like one list.
Yeah.
Isaac's is kind of this is just what he would buy.
I would buy these paddles. I don't really have, there's like one paddle on here, and I'll say it, that I would swap out for price. There's only one paddle I'm like, I probably would be hesitant to buy it. So that's why it's not on here. But if there was no price list, is literally one paddle would change. So that's why I really only have one list.
Okay, editor Chris here, really quick, just had to pop in. So for Isaac's list of paddles, the Loco was left out of this because we weren't sure if we were going to be able to talk about this paddle today. So we had recorded the Loco section because we knew that the paddle was possibly going to get approved today, and it literally got approved as we're uploading this podcast right now. So that's why we kept it. But we didn't mention it in the list because we just forgot. But obviously the Loco would have made it in this list for Isaac, but yeah, we just weren't sure if we could talk about it.
Okay. But Boomstik. I would buy a Boomstik. I think with how I've played with it, how much I like it, I would for sure buy the Boomstik.
Okay.
Shogun. Love that thing. That's like my ride or die. If I ever need to go back to something or I'm not comfortable, that paddle. I will always be good with that paddle, I think. So I would for sure use that or / buy it. The Era. I do like the Era quite a bit. This is where I would swap out. If there was no price, it'd probably be a Perseus Pro 4 16 millimeter.
Okay.
Otherwise,
not the Agassi? Because you use the Agassi at the U.S. Open.
I use the Agassi at the U.S. Open. It would be in between those. I'd probably pick the Perseus now.
Okay.
But I do like
just
the Agassi.
Just because of the shape?
Shape.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Agassi, but I do think I just lean towards that standard elongated shape.
Sure.
But that's where I'm at. Like it's either the Pro 4, if no price, doesn't matter. Otherwise, if price is involved, it would just be, if I'm buying it for these Gen 3 honeycomb paddles, it's going to be the Era. Otherwise, if not, I'd probably swap it out for a Pro 4.
So between the Era and the Pro 4, like what is it performance-wise that you like on one over the other?
I like the handles more on the Pro 4.
Okay.
And I think they hit a little bit harder.
Okay.
And I like that, but I don't think it's enough for me to spend an extra $50, $60.
That'd be more than that. It'd be
Are they 280? Are they 280?
the Pro 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, 280.
Oh, okay. I thought they were still like 250 or 260.
Nope.
Well, an extra $80. So plus not, I think, does Yola's warranty, they have a lower warranty?
No, it's actually the same now. So they do 1 year warranty, and then I believe I was looking at their warranty page the other day, and you get 3 replacements.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
then the SLK Era is also 1 year.
Solid. But yeah, that's really the only thing that would change. And then after that would be similar as you, Vatic Saga, 16 millimeter.
What shape?
Oh, come on. Is that even a question?
Yeah. What,
Elongated. Elongated
the
handle.
V7 long handle.
Yeah. V7 long handle. My standard shape. I think it's great. I love how that
I'm actually
plays.
surprised that the Saga made it on your list.
Really?
I mean, like maybe I shouldn't be that surprised with like liking the Shogun, but it's
Yeah, it has a similar like Shogun feel, and if I'm paying money for it, like it's a good, more closer to budget option, and I think it's just a really solid paddle. So yeah, I like it. I think I'd play really well with it. If I had to go to a tournament and somebody said, "Here's a Vatic Saga," I'd be like, "Sweet."
Sure.
So that's why it's on there. And then last but not least, True Foam 1. Carbon True Foam 1. I think the longevity of the core, how well it spins the ball, I've played well with it. I like it. It is expensive, but I think with how long it lasts, I think it's a great paddle. So that would be.
Now, if you had to rank it top to bottom, what do you think it would be?
Probably Boomstik, Shogun, Era, True Foam, Vet. Actually, it was pretty much basically in the correct order. Just swap the bottom two.
Okay, you'd put the True Foam above the Saga.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Otherwise, that would be exactly how it is.
Okay. Solid. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised the Boomstik made it on there for price.
I think it performs so well, and the things I've been able to do with it recently, I literally cannot do with any other paddle. And because of that, I would be willing to cough up the money. And for anyone that knows me, I'm just a gearhead, and I like premium things. And when it comes to like when I played baseball or any other sports, I've always bowling. I've leaned towards expensive premium equipment just because if I'm going to do something seriously and try to compete at the highest level possible, I want the best equipment. And that doesn't always mean that the most money you spend is going to get you the best equipment. But right now with the Boomstik, kind of true.
Yeah. Like prior Boomstik, yeah, that was not the case.
But now with the Boomstik on the market, that is
like 005.
Fairly accurate.
That never should have existed.
Yeah, that one shouldn't.
005.
005, 001.
007. 007 was like, I still feel like I probably would have taken that over a Power Air, but like the sweet spot consistency was just so bad. Like it's such a bullet when you nailed the center, but then off center, it was just nothing.
That's one of those, like, I've maybe seen it out in the wild once, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've like really only seen it once, too.
So, yeah.
004 didn't even exist. It just never even existed.
Right, that one just never even came out. That never got released. But, yeah, that's basically both of my lists.
Okay. My lists are similar. There's not a ton of difference, I would say. So, the 3 paddles that would be the same regardless of price. J2NF, the 11624, either of them, still kind of deciding. And then the Vatic Pro Saga. Saga is just a great, like for the price, it's just so good. I think you could get multiple of them. They're not that expensive. They're very solid. And then on different on this list, Carbon 2 or 4, potentially make it on there. I obviously used the Carbon 2 for like 7, maybe almost 8 months before I finally gave it up. Felt like I played well with it. had some decent results. Like, it didn't give me fuss. It wasn't changing, which I love about the paddle.
Yeah.
So to me, that did, when I first reviewed it, I was like, okay, I don't know if this is worth the money. This is expensive, but after using it and seeing how it held up for me, I was very, very happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that would put it on the list, just as like a, good durability option, not going to give me a lot of issues. And then I'm in a slightly different boat with the Boomstik. So I think I would be willing to buy a Boomstik, but I want to see a little bit longer how it holds up.
Guy has some of the best I've ever seen him play ever. And he's like, well,
$333 is a lot of money. I could basically buy 3 sagas for that price. I could
go back to playing like a 3-5? Excuse me. You want to be stuck there forever? This is your one chance to get out of that pit.
That's true. Maybe. The amount of people that did come up to me this weekend were like, dude, I've never seen you play this.
I don't think you
good.
understand the gravity of the situation.
Apparently I don't. So the reason the Boomstik is a maybe for me is like, I love how I play with it. I think it's a very good paddle, but I want to see how the grit holds up, and I want to see, I already know the customer service is good. Selkirk's always had solid there. So I guess it's more just the durability. Like, does it have any issues long-term that we haven't seen yet because it's new?
Yep.
And then how does the grit hold up? Because
that's fair.
I'm just thinking, if I'm going to tournaments and I have to buy this, it means I'm probably going to have 2 Boomstiks. So, okay, I'm over $700 after tax now. The amount of sagas, 11,624. I could buy a saga, 11,624, a J. I could buy every other paddle in this list.
Have fun losing in 3-0. That's fine. Not for anyone else, to be clear. This is just him.
Very funny. So I think there's a good chance I would, but I want to see it a little bit longer. I'll say I would buy it, but I want to see a little longer.
He'd cry a little after hitting purchase.
And then my last one, maybe a little bit more of a sleeper pick in the this category, Friday Fever, just for the price. If you had, let's just say I wasn't a reviewer anymore. Like, for both of us, let's just say it was like, okay, your only objective is you're going to compete, you're going to drill, like, you are playing pickleball. Paddles that are that cheap and still perform very well. Like, I don't, again, just like the Pro 4, be a little skeptical with how this paddle might change and how it might core crush. But at $100, like, I could have 5 of these for $500. And like, that's pretty, for grit alone, it would be easy to cycle them and be like, okay, I've got fresh grit. That was cheap, easy to replace. So that's kind of the paddle that'd be in my list.
You can only use one at a time. No, I'm just kidding. I get it. It makes sense. Yeah. Being able to buy 5 and just cycle them or
have fresh grit for a tournament or something.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I totally agree. I think for the price, it's a great paddle. It performs well. For me, I haven't played enough serious games with it to actually know if I would use it in a tournament or not. I think it's a good paddle, but I just, performance-wise, I just don't know for me if I would like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think if I had to rank it, okay, I'll put the Boomstik in this list for now, just since we mentioned it. I think, okay, if I'm going performance-wise, it would go Boomstik, J2NF, the 11,624 Alpha Pro Power or Power, probably the Carbon 2 or 4, Vatic Pro Saga, Friday Fever. Is what I think I would go with. And the Friday Fever is getting in the last spot there, mostly because it's only got one shape. And so, not yet, though.
Is it not out yet?
They're testing the wide body, but it's not out yet.
Got it.
That could potentially bump it up. And I heard they changed that one a little bit, or like it's a little different or something.
Oh,
so
really?
I don't know how performance-wise it is, but I think performance-wise in that list, that's what it would be for me. And I think if I'm kind of expanding on some of the reasons for all of those, J2NF, probably going to be hopefully similar, assuming there is no like duds like some of the long handle, which, by the way, just to keep you guys kind of updated, there are more people in my area that are starting to get the NFs. We know a handful of people that have them, and I'm now asking to see all their paddles and just bounce some balls around just to be like, is this different? Like, is anyone getting a regular NF that's a dud?
Yeah.
Because I want to know. So,
well, the guy who we know one of them who breaks everything, still using his.
But he hasn't had it for long. He's only had it for like 2 weeks.
For him, that's long enough.
True. He breaks a lot of paddles. So he'll be a great example of if that paddle's going to have problems, we'll find out.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll definitely keep you guys posted. So I like that enough because so far it's not giving a lot of fuss, and I like how I play with it. It's good. The 11.624s, very similar. It's like, can they core crush? Yeah. I had a guy, he actually just got an NF that said his Alpha Pro Power core crushed, but I think he got it secondhand from someone else, so who knows how used it was at that point. And then the Power Series, look, here's the thing. Paddles can still core crush. Like, it's not a surprise. It sounds like the rate's lower than normal, so whatever. I like those. I just like how they play. I think they play solid. Not a lot of fuss, kind of like the NF where it's like, it's just good.
Yep.
And you've got options for shapes. You want a wide body, elongated hybrid. It's like, great. Carbon 2, everyone kind of knows. I just liked it. It was solid, held up. Vatic Pro Saga. I mean, if you look at my list, it's basically, besides the Fever, it's all paddles that don't give me a lot of hassle. Like, I don't want to think about my equipment when I play.
Yeah.
I just want to play and not think about the paddle. So to me, that's an important aspect. Where there are other people, the performance may be the ultimate deciding factor. Like, if I got to warranty it, whatever, I'll buy 2 or 3 of these, and then I'll warranty one, go to the next one, and I'll be fine. And but they just want that absolute peak performance of whatever that almost broken Gen 3 is going to offer, and that's important to them. And that's fine too. But for me, I value the consistency a little bit more than that top power. And maybe as I keep improving as a player, I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I want that performance all the time.
Yeah.
And maybe that would make it more appealing for me, but the level I'm at right now, I don't think it's the end all be all for me.
Sure.
So yeah, that's our list there. Like I said, there's some good overlap, but should just go to tell you guys, all price ranges, it's impossible to go wrong.
I agree. There's good paddles everywhere.
You don't have to spend your entire wallet to get a good paddle. If you want to, sure, but most people aren't. They're just not losing because of purely the paddle. If you give someone a Saga, as long as it's within the realm of their category, though, control all court power, it's fine.
Right.
If you look at all the all court paddles. Let's take the brand new Pickleball Apes Harmony. Let's take even the Ronbus Refoam, which we haven't talked a lot about yet. Might try and shoot a first impressions on that. The Vatic Pro Saga, the 11.624 all courts. I'm sure if you gave it to me and just gave me enough time, I'll be fine with any of them in the all court category. They're just all good.
Yep.
The category is just kind of maxing out. So anyways, that's what we'd take. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about it, leave a comment down below. Happy to answer it. And hopefully I didn't forget one. I really feel like I'm forgetting an obvious one, but hoping I'm not. All right. You've made it to the kitchen. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back, lizards. Welcome to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Don't eat our food. The lizards should not be in the kitchen. Okay, so let's talk about this tournament this weekend. So ever since I've gotten the court in the backyard, there's a couple things that happened. So I've had a new men's partner. He had asked me to play a tournament. We'd played in some leagues a couple times, but we never hung out or talked really. And he's like, hey, you want to play this tournament? I was like, sure. So we played 5-0, basically went in blind. Maybe we actually don't think we got to practice at all for that tournament. And I think we made it to the quarterfinals of that one too, and barely lost in the last in that match. I was like, dude, we played great. I was like, that was fun. We should do another one. So we played another one. And then if I'm remembering correctly, that's the one we got silver in a money ball. And I was like, okay, that was great. And then we just started drilling a lot. Around 2 times a week, we usually drill. And I haven't drilled this structured in a while. He's very good at he usually brings the drills. And actually I want to talk about this. For those of you who are drilling, I think there are more beneficial and less beneficial ways to drill. And if you drill and you have thoughts on this, I'd love to hear what you guys do. But to me, one of the things I hate the most about certain drilling that people like to do is it's very non-structured and it's feels not optimized. So it'll be people will show up and they're going to go, all right, let's hit some dinks. Maybe let's do a dink game. Now we're going to do some drops. Then maybe let's do some hands. And let's just wrap up with skinny singles. It's just we're just going to hit a bunch of balls. But I think it's better. The way that I have really liked to do it is both of you come with 1 or 2 things that you really want to work on. And you just focus on those things. And, maybe do some skinny singles at the end to try and mix everything in. But it's okay, my third shot drop is really bad right now. So we'll do something like one drill we were doing was I would serve, he would return, and then I would just hit a drop, and that was it. And we would just do that over and over and over. And then after doing that for, say, 20 minutes, we go to his thing. So now that does mean that both of us are almost always getting something out of the drill. Like he was getting return practice while I was getting serve and third practice. And then if we're doing something else, like I'm probably getting sign out, but a lot of times it's like one person's role is kind of to be the helper. Like, okay, I'm going to do something that benefits you and maybe it benefits me less.
Sure.
But when you both trade that back and forth in the session, I don't think it matters. You both got what you wanted.
Well, yeah, I mean, I drilled the other day with a buddy of mine, and we did one thing. Basically, the entire time. We were both getting to work on separate things where all I did was hit forehand speed-ups to his forehand, and he hit counters. And we did this for like 2 hours straight. It was just basket after basket after basket. I did forehand speed-up, he did counters. We both get to work on those things. We're like, cool, we're done. Yeah. And I think that's a great way to drill.
Yeah, it just, ever since doing that, I'm thinking back when I was able to drill a little bit more, a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago or something, and everyone would just kind of drill in a way that it wasn't my favorite way to drill. And since doing it this way, I feel like my improvement has been way faster. And going into this tournament, I feel like I'm now seeing the reward of how we've been drilling. And sometimes these are only an hour long. Like you can get a lot done in an hour if you do it right and you do it structured.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice to everyone is, both of you come with a thing you want to work on. And if there's a way specifically to drill it, one of the things I love about the guy I've been playing with is he often has ways to make it a little bit more systematic. So I'm trying to think of an example of one, but it's like, it's not the most, it doesn't always start out like, I'm just like, let's say we were doing the speed up drill you were talking about. Like I'm going to hit a speed up and he's going to counter. It's not, I'm trying to murder you with this speed up and I'm trying to murder you with the counter. It's a little bit more cooperative. Like, okay, get the motion down so I kind of like know how to move and like anticipate. Then once you've gotten that down, you could maybe do one more progression, or then you can go into like a live ball type game where it's more aggressive. But first, instead of just murdering me, like, let me figure out what I have to do to hit this shot.
Yeah.
And then go into it.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were doing.
Yeah, I think it's just a better way to do it. And having someone who can do that has been awesome. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about this tournament. Okay. Yeah. I played 5-0 mixed and I played 5-0 men's. Mixed was first. Had a first time partnership. And we had, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 like game sessions before this tournament. And those were like the first times we'd ever played. And we ended up just slaughtering people. I've never had a tournament performance like this.
Kind of crazy.
I don't know if something just clicked in my brain.
No, we know what it is.
Wait, which? I want to know which thing you're gonna say.
You had a boomstick in your hand.
Okay, you didn't say the thing that everyone else said this weekend.
Just had a boomstick. Well, I agree. You got carried. Like, I mean, you better be ordering your partner a massage, physical therapy, hospital bills, x-rays. Like, dude. But the boomstick was carrying you as well.
The boomstick was killing it. It was killing it. So this division was technically, we had signed up for the 5-0 plus division, but there wasn't enough people for the division. So we got combined with it was 5-0 to 5-5, which was the one we were in. Then it got combined with the 4-7 to 5-0.
I would say it was more of a 4-5 to 5-0.
That's kind of what I would say too.
It was not a 5-0 to 5-5.
Yeah. Because there was only 4 teams that signed up for that.
Yeah. Realistically, it was 4-5-5-0.
Yeah, it was, I would say the average duper looking at most of it was probably right around 4-7.
Yeah. So let's hold the pat on the backs a little bit here, buddy, okay?
Hey, for a 3-5, that's pretty good. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying.
That's solid.
That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I probably wouldn't call this my first like true 5-0 win, but I mean, even for 4-7s, like I've been playing a lot of 4-5 tournaments over the last year, and I've never had a 10-0 run like that. That's crazy.
No, this is still great. This is huge.
Because I think in pool play, if I'm remembering correct, I think we had 6. So it was 5 games in pool and then 5 in bracket.
Okay.
So it was games to 15 in bracket and then 2 out of 3 in the final. But all day it was, I mean, we started out like hot. Mm-hmm. Like it was the strategy. She's like very athletic, very like a lot more aggressive than most women are in mixed. Mm-hmm. And most of the partners I've had, like our brother, his wife, who I used to play mixed with, she was like the exact opposite, like very reset heavy, block every ball, wasn't going to counter or attack much. but kept the point alive. It was awesome. So that's traditionally who I've played with. So this is a very different mixed style to play. But basically, we were just like, okay, I've got a boomstick. You've got a great drive and crash. One of us is going to drive the ball, and the other one's going to crash.
She's got an incredible overhead. Definitely hits it harder than you by far. Better hands.
Hey, whoa. Give me some credit here. I got some hands now. It's not as bad as it used to be.
But your drive was good. So you drive, she crashed. Yeah. That's a win.
But seriously, the first couple games we played, I think our first pool play game was 11-4. The next one was 11-1. Like it was, for any of you who have played League out there, it was like a FF at 15. Like we would start up like so fast, like 5-1 or something, and you would just see the other team, like the mood declined quick. Mm-hmm. And I get it, because when I've played teams like this, I hate it. Because it wasn't long points. It was like drive, crash,
yep.
Drive, net. Maybe there'd be a couple that
you
were
drive,
longer.
me went up there, press smite. Game's over.
Yeah.
Game over.
Exactly.
It was crazy. I finished one of my matches and I came over to watch one of yours quickly, and 4 points in a row. Drive, crash. Just shake and bake every time. It was like 4 identical points.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then I think our hardest matchup of the day, I would say, was the semifinals match. We were down a good chunk. I want to say they were up 3-8 at the switch.
Oh, I remember this.
And I have it on camera. I was wearing a microphone. Went to this and I was like, we got to do something different. I was like, what are we going to do? I was like, you have anything? Because I got nothing. And then at that point, I remember I said on the mic, I said, okay, we should just hit to the guy's backhand. And then I did not do that. The next ball, I just ripped a forehand, and I think it was another drive and crash. And I was like, well, that worked. I was like, let's just do more of that. So we just did more of that again. But that match was really tight. Like it was neck and neck the whole time. I think they got to 14 first, or maybe I don't even remember. And then it was 14-14, 15-15, 16. Like I think it ended 17-15. But we barely snuck away with that match. That was a very good match. Like my adrenaline was all-time high in that match. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So snuck away with that. And then in the gold, we did end up winning that in 2. I think it was 11-3, 12-10. They had a great comeback. They started up 5-0. Actually, this is probably the story that people get some amusement out of. So in the second game, they start up 5-0. They're just killing us. I was like, where was this team in the first game? It's just blowing us out. And so a lot of times throughout the day, when we were returning, we wouldn't stack. Mm-hmm. So if Mia was on the left, just left her there because she likes playing the left. So I was like, I like to try and be a player that is a little bit more adaptable. Like, look, if someone tells me that's their preferred side, even though I like the left more for men's or mixed, even though I'm not like the alpha, I'm more comfortable over there. But if my partner's like, I feel better over here, I'll try and fit the right side. And these days, my forehand dink doesn't bother me as much, so it's fine. But anyways, we would do that a lot throughout the day. So we got stuck like that a couple times, and actually, we must have scored 1 at one point. Anyways, we got stuck like that. And every time they were serving, it was like a relatively quick side out. And eventually I was like, screw it. Just play the left. We'd start serving, and I was like, let's just see what happens. Finally got a point. I was like, stay. Just stay over there.
He got banished.
I did get banished. If you guys haven't seen, I did post an Instagram reel. This is kind of what banished me to the left. She drove a ball or something. I went to poach, and I was way out of position. I don't know if I thought I was Ben Johns or what. I'm not. If you're a 4-5, you probably shouldn't be trying this move.
It's Jen Bonds.
Yeah. Way too far of a poach for me to reach, especially with a wide body. I completely whiff. She gets the ball, but now I'm in her way, and she just hits me with it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that was kind of embarrassing. And then I literally was just like, okay, just play the left. Yep. And then proceeded to she just popped off. I'm probably going to post this gold medal match. So you guys will see it at some point. Maybe it's after this week or whatever. But I felt like I was just standing there. I was like, I got to hit like one ball. Then you just come and hit everything else. So It's like.
But hey, even though it's still win's a win.
That's what I said.
It was a good win.
People were like, they were kind of poking fun at me. They were like, oh, you're playing the right and mix. I was like, dude, I have no ego. I don't care. If we get a win, I could not care less who is on the right or the left. We got the win.
Still got the gold medal at the end of the day.
That's all that matters.
Hey, over the whole day, I don't do it often, but I'm going to give you some credit. You played very well. So
let's go, baby.
There you go.
Let's go.
That's your once a year.
I appreciate it. Because everyone just kept coming up to me. They're like, how's it feel to get carried? And I was like, feels great. There's an art to getting carried, bro.
I'm the one with the gold medal around my neck.
That's actually one buddy came up to me after men's, and he He had gotten silver. And he was like, oh, Chris, where's your medal? And I was like, oh, it's weird that you say that. Because I have a gold medal and you have a silver medal around your neck. So that was kind of funny. So anyways, that was mixed. Great games. Men's, played, like I said, played with a guy I've been playing with for a while. Love playing with him. And very opposite story of how mixed was played. So I think we can play more aggressive, but we often don't. Like, we play a little softer, dink a little bit more. And that was kind of the theme of the whole day, was like, we're going to get to the kitchen. We're just going to dink and grind it out. And that's how we're going to win our points. And it went great. Like, there really were no issues. We beat some teams in pool play that I don't think we should have beat. I think they're better than us. I think their dupers are quite a bit higher. One of them was a 5-3 and a 5-2 team, 100% reliability rating. They've played a lot of the open division tournaments here. So those were awesome wins. Was really pumped about that. Pool play, we were 4-1. Very happy with it. And then we got to the bracket. And a lot of these games throughout the day, this is actually one of the things I think I was most proud about, is we would get down and we would kind of we'd take a timeout and we'd have like, hey, what should we change here? Like, let's mix something up, whether it's stacking or whatever we were going to do. And we'd make the adjustment and we'd start grinding back and we'd win the game. So it was like a very satisfying, okay, we changed strategy and it worked. And then, bracket, our first game, round of 16, again, getting destroyed. Tennis players, very good drives. It's like 08, like, or 07 maybe. We were just getting obliterated. I think at the switch, it might have been 2-8, maybe 3. I don't know. We were just getting dumpstered. A lot of net cords. Like, we were kind of tilting a little bit just because it was frustrating. And I said, look, dude, we have to make them dink. I was like, they are killing us with these drives. We just need to get it on the ground and then dink. And that's what we did. And we came back, and we were eventually down 7-13, won 15-13.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a really good win.
Adrenaline was also at an all-time high in that match. Like, even after the match, you came up to me and you were like, you're giving me crap for yelling in the middle of a match?
Oh, dude, this guy was screaming after each point. Yeah, come on. But hey, it's good. I'm all for it. I like it.
I'm not much of a yeller, but when you're down and you start making a comeback like that.
It's like JW, when he was screaming. It was good. It's good to see some emotion.
Yeah, exactly. So I was, again, really proud of those matches just because it was like, dang, probably matches we shouldn't have won with how far down we were. I think a lot of people, they just like, their mental goes out. They're like, whatever, I'm checked out. We lost this. You can see it with some teams.
Totally.
Mixed and men's, I saw it a lot of times. They just like gave up. Like, dude, you could figure this out. Like, I don't know. So I saw that a bit. That was a big thing I was proud of. Then, so we ended up in the quarterfinals. We went out, lost to a really good team, lost 10-15. They were just a better team that day. I think we were also getting tired. We were missing some shots we shouldn't have missed, thirds. They were just better. But still happy with how we played. But we got to tell the story about this gold medal match. This was crazy.
Dude, I've never seen, I was laughing so hard.
Everyone was laughing.
The craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, so we're watching the gold medal match. Obviously, I'm not in it. Isaac didn't play this division. He played the open division the day before. So Isaac just came to spectate.
Yep.
Okay, gold medal match. Team 1. We have Team A and Team B. Team A wins game 1. I think they won it pretty handedly, if I'm recalling correctly. The next game, Team B, I think, starts going up. Maybe they start up a little bit more. And then on Team A, player 1 starts cramping. His calf is going crazy. He's on the ground. He's laying down. We got a medical out there looking at him. Takes like almost a 15-minute timeout for these cramps. He's on the ground forever. They're like massaging his calf. He's drinking some electrolytes. He's finally good to go. They start playing again. Maybe not even 7 minutes later in that game, player 2 on Team A starts cramping. His calf starts, his quad starts cramping.
And like his hip or something.
So he's on the ground and he takes definitely a full 15-minute medical timeout.
100%.
Like this game was delayed so long because of this cramping. Then, perhaps one of the best parts, he's like, okay, I'm going to play. But he can barely walk. He wasn't like the other guy. He didn't come off this cramp being able to like really play.
And to clarify, we didn't really know this at the time. We were like, oh, they're just starting the match again. Cool, let's start watch. Because we were just chatting with people. It's like, all right, let's start watching again. And the second guy to cramp is standing in the right box, like they're stacking.
Yeah.
Like, okay, makes sense. Dude serves it, never moves. He just stays there. And the other guy's literally playing singles and wins the point.
Yeah.
And we were like, did I just see what I think I saw? Is that really what they're going to do for this match?
Yeah.
And proceeds to attempt to just play
1v2.
1v2. And he, to be fair, and
He was doing it.
This is game 2, by the way.
Yeah.
And they won the first game. And he was winning a few points. 1v2. Now, this guy has a crazy forehand.
He has a really
hits
good
the ball
forehand.
so hard. He's playing with a power series, 11.624 power series, and he's just nuking the ball.
Yeah.
So you give him a drive, and it's not good for you,
Yeah.
right? They end up losing that game, go to the third game. They're attempting the same thing for an entire match or an entire game, middle of a point, crazy point. Dude's running around, gets an overhead. He runs backwards. The first guy to cramp starts cramping again. But this time,
but it was in the middle. So in the middle of a point, he's like ripping drives. The other guys kind of stand outside, and you see him just running all over the court. And then he's going back to like hit a drive, and I see him lift his leg up, and he's cramping and like jumping on one leg trying to hit this ball.
He's like
and then
hopping.
eventually he goes down to the ground.
He lays on the ground. He's like in the fetal position, and he sticks his arm up and he starts waving. He's like, "Nope, I'm done. This one's bad." He's like, "This is really bad. I'm toast." And then they proceed to finally forfeit. Yeah, that was
crazy.
Laughing so hard the entire time. I've just never seen anything like, bro. 2 people cramping back to back, then trying to play 1v2. Like at that point, just give it up.
Yeah, just
Don't injure yourself, which he then ended up doing.
What was he? Do we actually know if he was injured? I thought he was just
I
cramped.
think it was just a really, really bad cramp. Like he could not put weight on his leg.
Yeah.
So he looked like he was in a lot of pain.
That was so funny. I like that. I mean, I really wasn't mad about losing because honestly, for this weekend, I was so happy with so many aspects of my play that it was like, okay, even if I lost, I saw the improvement that I wanted. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it's hard to be mad, especially when a team just plays. It's one thing, I'm more mad when I play bad and I know I could play better.
100%.
This, I mostly played, except for maybe my very last game, I feel like I played above my skill level. And I was like, I can't really be mad. And I think too, actually a big thing, I've talked about this before on one podcast. One of the like most important things to me when I'm playing a tournament is the vibe of my partner. Like I would much rather have a worse partner, but the vibe is really good, than a better partner, but they will tilt easy. They will get angry. They get angry at me. If my partner gets angry at me, I'm done. Yeah. Like I that will make me shut down because I'm like, dude, I don't want to suck right now. Sometimes you just suck. Mm-hmm. I know I'm sucking. This is like, but both of them very like just laughing on the court. Like in mixed, we're just making league references the whole time. So that was funny. And then with my other partner, I actually didn't know he was like this in men's until yesterday. But at one point he was like, dude, you just need to make me laugh. He's like, I play way better when I laugh. And I was like, whoa, I'm the same way. I was like, when I laugh and I'm loose, I play way better pickleball. So then anytime one of us was like a little upset or like we missed a dumb ball, it was just like, it's just trying to make each other laugh. And so that vibe made playing so much, one, less stressful. I think when you're angry, it's really stressful. So when you're just trying to goof off or like, we're taking it serious, but it's just like, hey, it's fine. It's pickleball. Smile a little bit. So I liked that about both my partners. And I think for men's too, one thing I just wanted to highlight, like playing with that guy, one of the things I really like is that I think the chemistry is really good. And neither of us have an ego. It doesn't matter who's stacking where. We usually put me on the left. Like yesterday, my drop was just better. So it's like, okay, Chris, just play the left. Fine. And sometimes we'd mix it up. It's like, I'm off right now, just play the left. Very adaptable. There's no like, if one of us says, hey, like every time you do this, like we're getting eaten up. It's like, okay, just make the adjustment. Where some teams, I feel like it's hard to say that and not have it come across as like bad. Mm-hmm. And it just, I don't know. I think we vibe really well. One of our skills that I think helps us win a lot of points is we're just both very good at resetting right now. I think he's even way better than me. He'll literally, dude, someone will have a full-blown overhead of the kitchen. He'll take like one step back and he's like staring up at their paddle and just puts his paddle on the ground. And I'm like, bro, I'm already the baseline and I turned around. I'm not looking anymore.
You're jumping up doing 360s.
Yeah, so his ability to just like not be afraid and just and he gets them back all the time. I'm like, dude, you are a monster. I'm like, so yeah, he's a very good partner. I love playing with him. Nice. been good. So
overall, good tournament.
Great tournament. And hey, we grind and duper. We farming, baby. I was a 4-5-2 at the start of this tournament. We have 4-7-4 now. Guys, we are one step closer to making sure Isaac is bald at the end of this year.
I'm not worried at all because for every one little step you make forward, you're about to jump 5 steps backwards. Like you're about to drop down to like Paul Lee level.
And, sorry, Paul.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, nothing against you, Paul. Love you, but
Duper's going the wrong way.
Duper's looking a little rough these days. Not accurate.
I was telling Isaac, I said, well, first of all, for you guys that don't know, we have a bet going on with my friends right now, 4 of them. And I wish I had it recorded so I could see how this all went down because your guys' recollection of it is very different from my recollection of it.
When it's 5-1, I think we got it right.
You're probably right. But I for whatever reason, I have the lowest duper in the room. All these guys, the highest duper at the time was like 5-4. And we were in this trip to Hawaii, and I just sat there and I said, you know what, guys? By the end of this year, this was in January, I said, I'll have the highest duper in this room. Somehow we made a bet out of it. Somehow money got involved. I don't remember this part.
$200 a person.
They claim that I owe each of them $200.
You agreed.
I genuinely don't remember that.
$200 a person.
That's crazy that I agree with that. That's terrible odds for me. Horrible odds. I was like a 4-5 at that point, and then I'm agreeing to, that's crazy.
Trying to get a whole point higher.
Yeah, at least. That's crazy. So anyways, we made this bet, and then Isaac on the last pod, one of the like last 10 pods.
A few episodes ago.
He was like, Chris, I don't think you can get to 5-0 by 30. I was like, by 30? Are you out of your mind? I was like, 30 is a whole year away. And then he was like, if you actually win this bet, I'll shave my head bald.
Yep.
So we're on the road to make Isaac bald.
We have the highest duper out of our entire friend group. And it has to be by the end of the year. Can't be at any point, which I don't think that's going to happen either. Then I'll do it.
And here's the thing, guys. I told Isaac yesterday, I said, look, I am going to fly my partners from this weekend, Sergey and Mia. I said, I will fly them to every PPA I go to. I will find a way to business expense this. And then I will make Isaac go to those tournaments, not play the tournament, but film vlogs of this. Dude, this would make a great series.
Watching your duper drop?
Forget chasing 5-0. We're going to have, can we make Isaac bald by the end of the year? I was like,
I'm sure a lot of people would love to see that happen.
I wish we had like more time to do that because I think it actually would be like a very fun series to like turn this, traveling to a lot of PPAs, but like the cost to fly.
We haven't even gone to one this year.
I know we haven't even gone to one, but if like money wasn't the issue, I would try and go to as many as I could for the rest of the year just to like, I think it'd be a fun series, right? And I think, like just with the PPAs, it'd just be a great series. But yeah, money's probably. I'm gonna go to a couple this year, but it would be if I was going to like 6 more this year or something. Yeah,
I definitely got to make it out to at least 1 or 2.
We'll be at Worlds for sure.
Well, Worlds for sure, but I want to do one other one. We'll see.
Yeah,
but yeah, overall, I mean, I really don't have many notes from my weekend for the tournament. I played the Open/Pro division for both men's and mixed, and was solid. It was good, but just very strong. Teams, and we in mixed made it through pool play, did fairly well, and then went out in the quarterfinals, I believe. I had a really strong partner, lefty, very fun to play with. I had a great time. I love playing with lefties, and so that was great. And then men's, we just were both playing off. Honestly, this whole weekend I was just kind of off, just not feeling great for some reason. My body's been hurting a lot. You're giving me your back problems. It's terrible.
Now you understand. You're going to finally put some respect on my game knowing what I've been dealing with.
I know, right? So, yeah, it just wasn't the best weekend, wasn't the best showing for me. I think we went out in the first round of bracket play after pool play and just was kind of rough, but still great, fun tournament. It's at a local facility here called Pints and Paddles. I think they run a great tournament every year.
They crushed it.
It's fantastic this year, other than the fact that they still do pool play. I think that's absolutely the dumbest thing of all time. But
I do think for the pro division, they should drop it.
What I will say about that is we had a talk with the guy, a friend of ours who runs it, and we chatted about it, and he does agree that next year they will get rid of pool play for the pro division. And we all agreed. There's not a single person in both mixed and men's that played the pro division that every single person agreed. Not a single person wanted pool play.
And for context, I think this might help people understand a little bit better, at least for Minnesota. I'm sure it's different for state. I think every tournament here that does a pro or open division there is no duper. It's just money. And so I think if people wanted to try and increase duper, there would be an incentive for pool play because you get more games.
Except for the CT tournament does duper.
Okay, never mind. Okay, sorry, I was wrong then. So not all of them. In the past, they didn't. So it's kind of changed around a little bit. But I think there's a little bit more incentive for pool play because then some people who are trying to get more duper could obviously gain some duper. Like, for example, if I started winning all these 5-0 divisions here, which that'll probably never happen, but let's just say hypothetically, and I wanted to get more duper, it's like, well, shoot, I can't get it in the open division, potentially. So if they don't do duper, pool play, waste of time. Otherwise, if they do duper, I could kind of see it, but most of the people here don't want it.
Yeah.
In open.
So, yeah, everyone, we all agreed, not a single person I talked to wanted a pool play for the pro division. Again, for the other divisions, that's great. Do it. That's what they want, fine. But not a single person in the pro division wanted that.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it. Next year, he plans on getting rid of it. And then, because it just allows for more 2 out of 3 matches, which for us people at this level, that's what we want. That's all we care about.
You're just trying to win the money.
Exactly.
You don't need games.
So I'm glad to hear, like, taking the feedback. They're changing things. They ran a great tournament. It was a lot of fun. The spectators, there was way more spectators this year.
Which made it really fun.
Really entertaining, really fun, just loud cheering. Like it was dead silent. Then all of a sudden the whole building would erupt. It was just really cool.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing a great job. Keep doing it. Love to see it. Fun tournament every year. Excited about it. So
Totally.
other than that, I really don't have much else to say for the tournament this weekend.
For sure.
Ready to move on to this game?
Yeah, you guys, if you made it this far, you're in like the back of the kitchen. You're in the pantry.
Yeah, you
made it deep.
Yeah, you're way back.
You just
here.
grinded back from a 0-14 and now it's 14-14 and you're about to go into overtime.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, we got a game.
We got a game here. This is going to be fun. So I'm going to explain the rules real quick. I've been seeing this on social media. There's a few other podcasts that do it. I don't know the name of their podcast, so I can't shout it out. But I did not come up with this. This is just something I've seen. Thought it'd be fun to apply to pickleball. We have a budget of $15, and there's going to be 4 different rounds of paddles.
Okay.
And you have to build your arsenal of paddles based on your $15 budget. And it will go from $5 to $1 in each category. And obviously $5 is going to be a good paddle. $1, probably going to be something bad. And at the end, at the last category, if you have remaining money, you can split it up.
So you're saying across the 4 rounds,
yep,
you can only spend a maximum of $15 total dollars. And in each round, you can buy a paddle for $5, $4, $3, $2,
yes,
$1.
You can only buy 1 paddle in the first 3 rounds. And in the last round, let's say you have $4 left, you could buy a $3 paddle and a $1 paddle if it's still available.
I see.
So those are the rules.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
actually, I wonder, you know how we could even think about this? Maybe this would be a fun way to do it this way. So instead of like build your arsenal, it's almost like if you had to build a pro shop.
There you go. Yeah.
Like if you had to sell the paddles. Let's do it that way. That'd be kind of fun.
I like that. All right, let's play. Build your pro shop for $15.
Okay.
Here we go. Round 1. Elongated list. Your options are $5 Pro 4, $4 GX2 Power,
Okay.
$3 Vatic Saga, $2 Rockney Aeroblade, and $1 Metal Bomb.
Metal Bone.
So because I made the list, you can go first on your option, and then I get to choose what's left.
Man, GX2 Power and a Pro 4 in the same first list, that's rough. That's tough. Okay, well, if I'm thinking about this from the perspective of a pro shop, and I don't want to spend $5 right away, but I think I have to have Pro 4. Like, if you're going to run a pro shop, like, you have to have Yola. You can't, like, everyone wants a Yola, so you can't. I'm gonna go Pro 4.
Spending $5 early. All right.
I hope I don't regret that later.
$5 out the way for Chris. I'm going to say $3 for Vatic Saga will be my choice.
Okay. All right, next.
Next, hybrid list. $5, J2NF. $4, C45. $3, GTO C 16mm. $2, DBD Infinity. And $1, Diadem Blue Core 19mm.
See, I don't this. Okay, for those of you guys listening, I don't know what is coming in any of these rounds, and Isaac knows.
I made the list, so I have a little bit of advantage. That's why he gets to pick first every time.
Oh, because you can't pick the same thing.
I can't pick the same thing. You took that option, and it's no longer available for me.
See, this sucks that the J2NF is $5 because I don't want to spend $10 halfway through the round and have like nothing else. But what I don't like. See, there's like two ways. There's like, obviously we're thinking pro shop. God, this sucks. Why did I spend $5 in the first round?
He was blowing the budget early.
Dang it, that sucks. Okay, shoot. Think, Chris, think.
This is tough, huh?
This sucks. Because like I'm thinking, okay, like let me think about this out loud. Okay, the bottom two, I'm not gonna have those.
Fair enough.
Okay, but then the next three, I've pretty much got power paddles.
Yep.
Paddletech, obviously there's some advantages there, but I think J2NF kind of equals those advantages, and like it's cheaper. It might not be like as poppy, maybe not as powerful, but like it's a great paddle. C45 is like also solid. It's not had as many durability issues as I thought it was gonna have, but I don't think it'd be what I'd. Okay, I'm just gonna send it, and I'm gonna say, I'll say the NF. I'm gonna spend the 10.
Ooh, he's spending $10
I'm really hoping I don't regret
in 2
that.
rounds. He got $5 left for 2 more rounds. That might put you in a rough position.
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
might
gonna warn
hurt.
you.
I'm gonna lock it in.
Okay, he's locking in the J2NF. I'm going to pick. I spent $3 last round.
Yep.
So that means I've got $12 left. I think I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with the GTO C.
Okay.
$3.
I'll take GTO. So he's only spent $6.
$6.
I've spent 10.
Yeah.
All right. Next up.
Wide body list.
Gosh dang it.
$5. Boomstik. Wide body. $4. Pro 4. Obviously the Scorpius. The $3 Pegasus Power, $2 J4K, and $1 Z5.
Okay, this one's a little easier. I'm not, because of the last one, as much as I would want to carry a Boomstik, if I'm thinking pro shop, I'm gonna go Pegasus Power here. I'm gonna spend $3.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna take the Pro 4.
Okay.
Yep.
So you have what you've spent. So you had 9. So now you've got 5.
I've got $5 left.
And I've got $2 left. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
All right. The last list, miscellaneous. This is just random paddles. We've got elongated Boomstik, the True Foam wide body, so 2. The Flick F1 for $3, $2 the Gamma Airbender 16 millimeter, and $1 the Bird.
So wait, hang on. I've only got
You got $2. You got $2
so I can
left.
pick the Bird or the Gamma Airbender. You know what? I'm gonna send it on the Bird. It's
He's
different.
going with the Bird, and he's got $1 left.
Am I probably selling any of those in this pro shop? No, I'm probably not. But at least it'll look different on the wall.
Probably not. And I've got $5 left, so I'm going Boomstik.
So he got to. Well, actually, I guess you couldn't. I guess the only difference is, even though you knew the advantage of the list, you didn't know what I would pick, so you didn't know what I would take from you.
Exactly.
So, okay, so my final list ended up being the Pro 4 Perseus 16 millimeter, the J2NF, the 11624 Pegasus Power, and then the Bird. So that's my pro shop. What was yours?
My pro shop was Vatic Saga elongated, GTOC, Pro 4, Boomstik.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a pretty solid list of
that's
battles.
That's pretty solid. Okay, well, you guys let us know down in a comment whose pro shop was better. Who are you buying from?
Yeah, just for this week, just comment Chris's pro shop or Isaac's pro shop for which one, if you made it this far.
That works. That was a pretty good game.
Whose pro shop would you visit?
Maybe next week we need to do like accessories.
Ooh, I like that.
That could be kind of fun.
This was a fun game.
Yeah,
I liked this quite a bit.
That was fun.
So,
well,
I think that's all.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. If you made it this far, impressed as always. We appreciate you guys listening. And again, 24 hours on that Melin code. If you guys want to hear or read that SpeakPickleball story, that'll be linked down below. But otherwise, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.